आपादमौलिपर्यन्तां गुरूणामाकृतिं स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धन्ति च मनोरथः लक्ष्मीं तनोतु नितरामितरानपेक्षम् अङ्घ्रिद्वयं निगमशाकिशिखाप्रवालम् हैरम्बमम्बुरुहडम्बर चौर्यनिग्रं विघ्नाद्रिभेदशतधारधुरन्धरः सर्वेषां स्वागतम्. This is the Saṃskāra session for the 58th shloka. So, 58th shloka, as we have seen, it wants us to transcend beyond our normal, whatever we see, that is the manifested forms. So, yavan till yavat na drishyate, that is. So, until and unless we see the whole samsara in the energy form, we can keep worshipping the manifested forms. But as we go beyond that, it has to, we have to go towards Brahmopasana. Now, in this, we have already spoken about two different interpretations or two different meanings when we read something, because the passage of knowledge in terms of words is not as easy as it sounds. It's much more difficult and much more complicated when there isn't a proper guru also. So the one thing that we have seen is Vachyartha and Lakshyartha. So the meaning of the words can be two forms. Vachyartha is what the word is trying to convey, and it has a very specific form. Like for example, Rama means Ramante Yoginaha. So there is a very specific form. When we put it into a context, that context is going to deliver a specific meaning. And that specific meaning might have a restricted meaning. It can be a more expanded meaning, artha vikasa, artha, sankocha. It can be both. Artha parivartana also can be there. So this is linguistics. So here, the lakshyartha, like for example, when we speak of Ganga, Ganga is going to be that river. That's all. In a normal sense, the Ganga is the name of a river that flows in India. But the association in contextual terms, Ganga can mean purity. Ganga is mostly associated with very pure forms, one that washes the sin away, etc., etc. So the implications based on how the word Ganga is used, it makes that difference. Ganga, when it has a Vachartha, it has the river. But Lakshyartha, it can mean purification, liberation, etc., etc. So like that, when we try to understand the word Brahman, the meaning of this Brahman, it means something that expands. Brah. We've already spoken about when we talked about Brahma. But when we talk about the meaning over here, it means Brahmatma Bhuhu Surajyeshtha Parameshthi Pitamaha. These are as per Amarkosha. What is this meaning? They are trying to say Brahmatma Bhuhu, one that has emerged due to expansion. The Atma is the essence if we take. Again, we're trying to interpret the knowledge through a Western language, so it might not come out as accurately as we need it. But here, the essence that has born out of the expansion, that is Brahmatma Bhuhu. Surajyeshtaha. Now, when we look at our predecessors, our forefathers, there is an origin. Like, I'm not speaking about only about the human species of life itself, something that predates the human species, something that predates that species, something that predates that. There is a life. So the life initially began at some point of time. And then if we predate that, then the conditions need to be brought in for life to flourish, like water, air, etc., etc. Then something that predates that also. Then what happens? The Panchabhutas, the creation of those faculties, those factors that are responsible for life, predate that also. Go back beyond that also. Then what happens? The first and the prime uh, seed of creation, what we say. Like, for example, when we say payasa, which is kheer, what is needed for that? Okay, we need milk for that, and we need something else to add, the sweet for that. Okay, we'll go back. Milk. For the milk, we need cow. And then cow, usually I'm taking out, we can, whoever gives milk, if anybody is using some other milk. Then we have sugar. Sugar is through sugarcane. Go back beyond that. Now, all these organisms, that is uh, cow also, the sugarcane also, we can reduce it to a single cell. They are all born with one through Paramanu itself. So atomic forms predate that also. The atomic form before it starts to couple up to form a cow or a sugarcane. So go back to that extent where you have nothing but a single cell. That is only one thing. Even those two cells would have, so cells or those two particles would have evolved from one source only. That is that one single source is going to be Brahman. So when it starts that manipulation, that creation, that is Brahman. So that is the only true form. Because immediately after that happens, things start to change due to byproducts. It is not in the original form. So that is the Parameshti. And that is the father of all, father, mother, whatever is more possible or acceptable. That is what we are trying to understand. So the Lakshyartha of Brahman is not to imagine another entity. We are not going to imagine one more entity. That is the problem with manifestation. So whenever I say Rama, immediately what happens due to our perception, due to our sensory information, what we have taken, the image gets formed that, okay, he has a dhanush, he has a, uh, you know, those features, Rajiv Alochana, matted hair, etc., etc., all those things that comes into our mind. But no, imagining Rama as a Brahman form, it's not actually imagining, it is realizing him in that Brahman form. There we have to understand that our Laksha is not to create another Rama. It is to understand that Rama has an essence. That essence has been magnified in him, and therefore he has certain gunas. But if we take off his human form, then he is gunatita. That essence is sarvavyapi. It is omnipotent. It is capable of anything. That source has also given rise to me. If we consider, so that is the prakasha tattva, the light and the energy form. That is where we have to focus on. That is the lakshartha over here. And we are trying to understand not with respect to the words or with respect to its meanings. Contextually, our main understanding is to, there is no clear description. The only thing that we can say is Satchidananda, but what is Satchidananda is also cannot be put into words, because it can only be understood through experience. So experiencing that state. So that's what it clearly says over. Get rid of all the vrittis, chitta vrittis. experience the silence of mind, antarmauna, then we will see that antarmauna is actually very pleasurable. It is anandamaya. It is niramaya. Then we understand that is its true state. When we realize that that is its true state, then we understand that whatever we are feeling, the emotions, whatever we feel, those are kshanika. This is our natural state. We will come back to this base level of well-being. We will always come back to this. But because we are not allowing that space, that means continuously our mind, we are going through regular thoughts, thinking of 100 different thoughts at a point of time, we are not allowing our mind to settle. When we allow our mind to settle, we will be able to realize that form. When we realize that form is able to fulfill us. So that is avatarana. When that happens, then we will be able to separate our physical existence from our spiritual existence. Then we will see the Brahman. That is the Lakshartha. That is what needs to be understood through Sri Rama Gita as a whole. So that should be kept in mind. That is the samskara that we get from this. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्य प्रतिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण मही महिषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।